According to an economic research report done by Dr. Coleman Jensen and several of her other colleagues, there's an estimated 14% of Americans that are food insecure, which comes out to about 45 million. Without proper food, you do not get the proper nutrition, and today I'm going to talk about the problem behind that, its causes, and what we can do about it. According to the World Food Summit, food security is the access of safe, nutritious, and sufficient food to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Unfortunately, the United States does not fit that description. Here's a map showing the areas of food security. And the darker the green was, the more food insecure the state was. And the southern and west coast both suffer from more food insecurity than the rest of the United States. And this can be due to a number of reasons such as poverty or disaster. Now, although food insecurity hits all that are affected by it, it kind of hits them a little differently depending on your age. Seniors have to choose between medication and food, and they usually choose the former. And without food, they don't get the proper nutrition, and their time may be limited because of that. Children get hit the hardest. Imagine raising children at the poverty line, and you can barely make enough money to have shelter, and unfortunately you have to make sacrifices, and the food suffers because of it. And because the children don't have access to good food, they suffer. They don't get the proper nutrition they need to grow to be healthy adults. And not only does it hurt the children, it also hurts everybody's future. So what is causing all this? The main thing is poverty and sacrifice. Those who are in poverty have to choose between shelter or medication or food, and they usually always choose the shelter or medication because they feel like they can skip out on the food. According to the United States Census Bureau, the amount of people in poverty in 2014 was 14.8%. And compare that to the 14% who are food insecure, those numbers are very closely related. About 70% of those who are in poverty are food insecure. So what can we do about it? The solution is actively being worked upon by Feeding America. This organization provides food to families by a nationwide network of over 200 food banks, 60,000 food pantries, and programs that service about 46 million people. Their goal is to provide safe and nutritious food for children and emergency assistance for disaster victims and a chance at stability for those who are in poverty to kind of get out of that rut. There are a number of ways for you to get involved in this organization. The first is if you have a supply chain or you own a restaurant, you probably have leftover food, and instead of throwing it away, you can sign up to donate that. If you can also volunteer to House of Food Bank, which just holds food for processing and storage. And if you don't want to do that, you can volunteer at one, where you'll probably stack or organize and pack food. Here's a picture of what it'll typically look like if you volunteer at one. If you don't want to volunteer, you can donate money. You can either do it at one time or you can have it reoccurring and it'll charge you monthly. $1 can give you 11 meals. And if you give $8, you can feed a family of 4 for a whole week. So for just about an hour's worth of minimum wage, you can secure a family for a whole week. And if you give 4 hours of your time of minimum wage, you can set that whole family up for a whole month. And that can really help them out. So in conclusion, there's about 45 million people that are affected by hunger, and they do not have access to safe and nutritious food. And the causes behind that is mainly poverty and sacrifice. And typically people would choose anything, like medication or shelter over food. But there is an organization that is trying to solve that issue, and that is Feeding America. And they donate food and have programs for families that are food insecure. And if you help them, they can definitely change the United States. You can do that by either volunteering or giving money. $1 is 11 meals. And below there's a link for you to check out where you can donate money and learn more about the cause. And as Dr. Norman Ernest Borlaug says, you can't build a peaceful world on an empty stomach and human misery.